Orosensation. Noun. A false sensation of taste obtained by stimulation of the tongue. Junk food is designed to taste good. And believe it or not, millions of dollars of research goes into deciding how much crunch is the perfect amount of crunch in chips and how much fizz to add to beverages, which basically makes it impossible to resist. For me, it takes a lot of willpower to not eat junk when it's right in front of me. This cupboard, the snacks cupboard. Not today, not today. The days I feel motivated, I can really exert my willpower and not eat snacks. But as they say, willpower is like a battery. And over time, the charge of the battery just goes and diminishes until you reach a point and you just can't control yourself. I'd gone home for a week, and as I was leaving, I waved goodbye to my family and carbs. And since I'm back in my house, my rules. But I'm not sure if it's my house because I still have to pay rent. And that rent is paid by my dad, so I'm not sure. So, I tried keto for 1 week and here's my review. So for those of you who don't know what a ketogenic diet is, a ketogenic diet is basically a very high fat and a very low carbohydrate diet. And when I say low, I mean very low. On a ketogenic diet, you are allowed to have 20 to 50 grams of carbs every day and that's it. And other than that, your main focus should be on fats and protein. A ketogenic diet follows the insulin model of fat loss. And if you don't know what that is, you can watch a detailed book review I made over there that further explains the topic. The next question is, what can you eat while following a ketogenic diet? The goal of keto is to eat foods that are high in fat and low in carbs. So it includes things like meat, high fat dairy, things like butter, cream, cheese, and even paneer. It includes nuts and it includes leafy vegetables. Our body usually breaks down carbohydrates to use it as energy. The objective of keto as to why we keep carbs so low and we eat so much fat is to make our body adapted to burn fat for energy. And over time, by following a high fat and a low or no carbohydrate diet, your body will get fat adapted. Your body burns the fats that you eat in the form of butter, cream, cheese and all that instead of carbohydrates due to the absence of carbs. And once you are fat adapted, you will be in the fat burning mode. You will be in a position where you can use your body fat as energy instead of getting hungry. So theoretically, that is the whole objective of keto. But on this channel, we like to do things practically and put it to a test. First things first, let's weigh ourselves. Day 1 of keto. The second thing is grocery shopping. And since I'm back and I literally have no food, we'll start with a clean slate.
Yup, my fridge is literally empty.
I'm definitely going broke by the end of this video. And actually that brings me to point number 1, which is cost. A ketogenic diet is definitely going to be more expensive to maintain and follow. Although the food options are pretty limited, all of them are pretty freaking expensive. But that's mainly because they are not produced on a large scale in factories like bread or pasta. But on the other hand, fats are more calorie dense. Every gram of fat contains 9 calories compared to every gram of carbohydrates which contains 4 calories. So since it's so calorie dense, it keeps you fuller for longer. So after you eat a meal which is very high in fat, you can go way longer without eating. So instead of having a meal which is very high in carbs and a few hours later getting hungry and having a snack, compared to just having one meal which is high in fat, which keeps you full for the same amount of time. And also, since the food options are limited, the overall cost is not that much more. The next thing I want to talk about is meal prep. In terms of meal prep, I found this very convenient. Things like butter, cream, cheese come directly in the packet which I can consume, and things like eggs and chicken can be cooked in a very short amount of time. And pair that with leafy vegetables like cabbage, spinach and cauliflower, and the whole meal didn't take very long time to cook. And comparing that to a vegan plant-based diet, which honestly took so long and so much time to prepare. The third thing I want to talk about is options. I can literally count the things I can eat on my hand. Things like meat mainly consists of chicken, and I don't want to say beef because I live in India and I don't want to go to jail. And since the options are limited, it gave me a weird sense of mental clarity on the things I could and could not eat. There's no grey area. Things are either keto friendly or not. And compare that to a vegan diet where spinach is vegan and so is bread and jam. And I sometimes did choose the bread and jam. So when it comes to options, It is restricted, but it's weirdly relieving. Next thing I want to talk about is social events. When it comes to following a ketogenic diet in social situations, especially in India, can be a little tricky. If you go to a continental restaurant, you can have the steak. And if you go to an Indian restaurant, you can have tandoori chicken. And if you go to a South Indian restaurant, well, you can have water. I have like very fond memories of going to college, and after that going and having masala dosa over there, yeah. But you know what? I can't have masala dosa anymore, mainly because I'm following keto now. The next thing I want to talk about is cravings. Most of the meals while following keto is very yummy and satisfying. Do you honestly think I'll be dissatisfied after eating an omelette made with cheese and butter?
Started with an omelette, ended up with scrambled eggs.
So the meals by themselves were very yummy and very satisfying. So that's why I didn't feel like I was sacrificing on things like chips and biscuits. The next point I want to bring up is snacking. When it comes to snacking on a ketogenic diet, there are very few keto-friendly snack options. The only thing I can think of from the top of my head is cheese, which is available in every grocery shop. But even that gets kind of boring after a while. That reduced my tendency to snack. But honestly, there are very limited snack options, especially in India. I know that initially it was supposed to be a 1-week challenge, but there were a few things I really wanted to put to a test. So at the end of 10 days, I want to give you my overall conclusion, pros and cons of following a ketogenic diet. Let's start with the cons. Honestly, workouts didn't feel that great, whether it was running or performance at the gym. I'm not sure what it is about keto, but I'm getting tired pretty fast. And I'm usually the type of person who can run like 10k with no problems at all. But now I'm just getting tired. Out of the 3 macronutrients of proteins, fats and carbohydrates, carbohydrates are usually the ones that give you the most amount of energy in the fastest amount of time. So even after following the keto diet for a week, I didn't feel very energetic at the gym. I also found it very difficult to run a 10k and found that I didn't have much energy. And if you would have watched a previous video of mine where I ran 10 kilometers every day for a week, which is linked over there, you will probably know that I really like running. And at the same time, I found it very difficult and found myself needing a lot of motivation to run 10 kilometers or more. So, a ketogenic diet and working out, especially if it includes endurance sports like running, is something that I would not recommend. Con number 2, feeling dehydrated. Every macronutrient has certain types of properties. And carbohydrate, as the name suggests, carbohydrate, keeps you hydrated. Carbohydrates have the property that retains water in your body. Every gram of carbohydrates that you consume, your body will retain 4 grams of water. Since you retain that water, you'll not just sweat out and pee out everything. I mean, sweating out everything sounds good and all, but when you're running and you sweat out everything and you get very dehydrated, it's actually very difficult. I found myself having to stop mid-run just to drink water so that I could continue. And that is something that I usually never required. Now let's talk about the pros. Since fat doesn't invoke insulin, it doesn't give you this crazy ups and downs, and you just have this really nice stable energy throughout the day. And I would say you just feel very calm and clear-headed. Pro number 2, sleep. I found that I got amazing sleep while following keto. Even my dad tried it for a week. And my mom was very happy because my dad stopped snoring altogether. And the last thing I want to conclude with is practical keto in India. At the beginning of day 1, I weighed 82.2 kilos. And at the end of the 10th day, I weighed in at 80.9 kilos. But I feel like I look pretty much the same, if not worse. So that's something I want to tell you. There's a difference between weight loss and fat loss. You remember how I told you that carbohydrates retain water? As soon as you stop eating carbohydrates, there's basically nothing in your body that allows you to retain that water. Pee and sweat it all out. So, did you lose weight? Yes. But did you burn any fat? No. So that's why when it comes to keto, a lot of people experience a lot of weight loss. But when it comes to fat loss, it's not superior to any other form of calorie deficit. I also want to talk about practical keto in India. Honestly, food is such a social aspect of our lives. It's included in celebrations, festivals, and birthday parties. In my opinion, keto in the long run is not very sustainable. Let's say in a hypothetical situation, I followed keto for 364 days in a year strictly, and on the 365th day was my birthday. Do you honestly not want me to eat cake on my birthday? And if the answer is yes, you follow keto. So what I'm trying to say is eating a strict keto diet of 0 to 20 grams of carbs for a long period of time is pretty impractical. So is keto a magical diet that'll help you get ripped, lose a lot of weight, and do everything you wanted but could not with your regular diet? No.
Honestly, something I personally feel and have experienced is that a high fat, high protein and a moderate carbohydrate diet is superior, which basically includes about 50 to 100 grams of carbohydrates, which mainly comes from fruits and vegetables. I feel like that strategy gives me the benefit of following a ketogenic diet, but at the same time gives me enough energy to have great workouts. So all I'd want to say is, instead of having a very carb-centric meal, shift your focus to fats. But at the same time, don't ignore carbs altogether because that gives you energy. And if you're wondering, what happens if I eat a high carb and a high fat diet? Don't worry, I've experimented with that too. Yup. So that brings me to the end of the video. If you like this video, please do like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.